What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman and Ben Rasa here for Awesemo.com, and we are back with the breakfast menu, closing out the work week with a little bit of NFL futures. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. I've got two real fun ones here. We've been talking a lot of baseball as of late. You and I split yesterday. I'll take a split. That's fine. I can't clean my plate every day. Neither can you, but we will certainly try. But now we are moving on to NFL futures, and I'm really excited to give you mine. How are you feeling about the NFL? Are you excited for the NFL to be back?
I am. I'm more excited for college football because it's easier to bet. That's just the honest truth. But yeah, I definitely am. And the good thing about the NFL is you have more of a selection. You can drill down. If you like a team, you can bet their win total to make the playoffs, a player prop. You can bet, of course, individual spread. You have every option available. That's the best thing. The NFL is king in that regard. The one other thing I'm excited about, we've done a ton of NFL content, and we're going to have a ton more, but you really haven't been part of a lot of it. So your takes, I'm really interested to see what you've come up with to kind of compare it to where other people here at Awesemo are at.
I don't think you're going to find that to be a true statement by the time this video is over, but we shall see. Do you want me to lead off here?
Sure.
All right. I'm going a full strip of bacon on this bad boy, and it is at plus 275. So this is a pretty interesting piece of content here. Whew. All right. I found a lot of team specials, a lot of weird stuff. So we're diving in here. This is a combination. We need both of these two things to happen. Dalvin Cook over 13.5 rushing touchdowns, along with Adam Thielen over 9.5 receiving touchdowns. And again, this is plus 275. Last year, Dalvin Cook, 16 touchdowns in 14 games. Thielen, 14 touchdowns in 15 games. See, you can't even handle it. My takes are so good. Water is, your body's just rejecting everything that you try to do. That's how good of a bet this is going to be. I can feel it. You were so surprised by the quality of the bet that I'm providing you right now. Both of these guys went over those marks last year. Don't forget, we got an extra game. Vikings, number 7 offense at PFF last year. Same cast of characters are coming back. Cousins, 7th best passing grade in the NFL over the past 3 years, and two of the guys that are ahead of him no longer in the NFL. Adios, Drew Brees. Adios, Andrew Luck. I do worry a little bit that Justin Jefferson takes a little bit of shine from Thielen, but I have no worries whatsoever about Dalvin Cook, barring health. And that's barring health works for every single person in the NFL. The only thing that can slow this down is the offensive line. It ranked 28th last year. A lot of pressure, but I'm a math guy. Regression should just kind of handle that. If you're 28th last year, you're probably just going to slide up a little bit just by simple math. So either way, I think there's a little bit of value in this number. I'm going the full strip of bacon on these guys, plus 275. You good, by the way? You didn't drown at the desk?
I almost died on a show. That was a new one. Whew. You know, you start talking about the Vikings and Kirk Cousins, and I'm thinking about plexiglass and all sorts of shenanigans, and I almost choked on water. So we've got that. I do worry about Dalvin Cook's health. He runs hard. He's banged up a lot. But he's the type of guy, unless there's a major injury, and I certainly hope there's not, he could still clear it and miss a few games. He's that good. So I'm going the other way. I'm going to some pretty... Yeah, I'm shorting what you picked.
Alexander Madison and somebody else, and Irv Smith.
I'm going to two pretty juicy numbers, but I really like these spots. I went to the make the playoff or miss the playoff market. There's a couple teams that I'm pretty high on. First, Tennessee Titans to make the playoffs at minus 150. First thing when you look at to make the playoffs is division. You got the Colts. Not a great offseason for them. We'll see. It looks like Wentz will be back sooner rather than later, but still, I don't think they were that good to begin with. The Jaguars are not good. You can mark that down. It's a division that I really don't see a ton of things really coming out of it. The Titans have kind of dominated here. The South is just notoriously one of the weaker sides, and I haven't even gotten to the Texans, who I think there's a chance of the worst team in the league. So you look at this, to me, this is Tennessee's division to lose. If you win the division, you make the playoffs. If you don't win the division, say the Colts are good, or say someone else takes a step, certainly there's an additional wild card, and Tennessee is the type of team that I think can absolutely grab one of those. You add in Julio. You've already got Derrick Henry. You've got A.J. Brown. You've got stability really across the board here. I worry a little about the offensive line. Always need that to be solid, but I look at this as a division to attack minus 150 to me is just a really, really good number. And you can even shop that. You might be able to find even better. I'm going to do to win 3 strips of bacon here. I love this bet. I think they're going to win the South. So there's no reason. It's a season-long bet, so I'm going to get my money's worth. But I think Tennessee is one of the most undervalued teams on the board this year. I think they make the playoffs and could actually have a home game. I don't think that's a stretch at all. So one of my bigger bets in the offseason.
Is 3 strips? Have we had a 3 stripper yet?
No, I don't think so. But
ooh, watch out for your cholesterol on that one. By the way, I like it a lot.
When you have a near-death experience, you can't take anything for granted. So I need to just get these bets out while I can still live and breathe here. So
you don't want to get buried with that money.
That's right. Can't take it with you. Minus 150, Titans make the playoffs.
I like it. I am not going to 3 strips of bacon. I'm not even going to 1 strip of bacon here. I'm going to the half strip. It is plus 350. And I'm in the same sort of vein that I was before. This is Darren Waller and Henry Ruggs, 15 plus touchdowns combined this year. And this one's a tough one. Derek Carr coming off his best season since 2016. Last year, Waller, 9 TDs. Ruggs, only 2. So they only hit 11 combined last year. But I don't think that it can't get much worse for Ruggs. He had a terrible rookie year, battling injury, and then just simply lost playing time. I think that recovers. He's way too talented to simply lose his spot immediately. At least I hope so. If Ruggs does take that step up, I do think that it comes with more touchdowns just sort of naturally. He's got that big playability. I don't really know how else he would just... If he's going to break out, it's probably going to come from like a lot of really interesting touchdowns. Waller's a stud. I don't have anything to add there. He's just really, really good. The only thing like that's kind of an issue here is that I think the Raiders just aren't very good, but that should probably result in extra pass attempts, which should help in terms of trying to throw extra passing TDs, along with the fact that there's an extra game, and this one I really, really need. So plus 350, I think, gives me a bit of wiggle room. But what I'm really trying to do here, I have no doubts in Waller's ability. You're hoping to get a little lucky on touchdowns, but he's just going to be good so long as he's on the field. I think Ruggs takes a step forward because I think he's actually talented. I only need one of these 2 bets to hit, and I'm going to feel pretty damn good. And I like this one, but only a half strip of bacon. I don't love it as much as I like that Vikings bet.
You can't trust the Raiders.
No.
You just can't. Ruggs is a burner. He's certainly the type of guy that could have, in terms of receptions per touchdown, like he's not a volume catcher, but when he catches the ball or touches the ball, a lot of times good things are going to happen. I'm sticking, again, we balance each other out nicely here. You've got 2, smaller unit bets most likely for some big upside. With me, it's the opposite. My bets have a much higher chance of hitting, but I'm laying significant odds. My second one is the Cleveland Browns to make the playoffs, minus 225. Again, I know that's juicy, but to me, of course, there's injuries. Of course, there's ways, but the Browns are more likely to me to make the Super Bowl than to miss the playoffs. I don't think that that's a hot take. They looked good last year. Everything returns. Odell is back. Baker, I'm not the biggest Baker guy, but he's good enough. He's got every weapon that you could ask for. He's got receivers, tight ends, 2 good backs, a defense that is fantastic. Myles Garrett is in the short list for Defensive Player of the Year in terms of the preseason odds. The division is fine. Cincinnati. I think Pittsburgh's going to take a step back. Don't like them. Baltimore's a solid team, but to me, Browns division possibly to lose. Their over-under for win totals is 10.5. If they clear that, they obviously make the playoffs. If they don't, I still think they'll be very close to that, and they will make the playoffs. You get the extra team. Barring injury, and as you said, you could say that for every single bet in the NFL, Cleveland is going to soar through to the playoffs. So you're laying significant juice. I'm not going to go crazy. It's just to win 1 strip of bacon, but I think that's the type of bet. You're going to make it, you'll forget about it, and then when they are in the playoffs, it's just a nice little bankroll booster come playoff time because this team is too good to miss at this point.
I'm a big Browns fan. I cheer against them, though, pretty aggressively because of Fields and premium slack. Whenever he's sad, I'm happy. So there's just that. I hope he watches this, too. That would be really, really fun for me. But the Browns were always a team that I liked to get to and try to rebuild in Madden from days back.
It's crazy. I used to root for them year after year and say they're close, they're taking the next step. Now they're finally good, and I don't like them. But they're a good team. That team, they get and listen, rightfully so, they still suffer from their Cleveland, and that actually doesn't matter. I know it seems like it does, but it's like, oh, well, it's the Browns. Like, well, we're looking at numbers, we're looking at personnel. That doesn't mean anything. And if this exact roster was in Pittsburgh, was in a notorious, franchise that does things the right way, they would be on the short list of the teams that can challenge Kansas City. And I think that they should be, and they're not getting that respect.
2 bets up, 2 bets down, finally dipping our toe into the NFL waters. Anything else we need to talk about before we get out of here?
Yeah, I know that it's not, I'm not going to say it's not real football, but it's preseason football. That doesn't mean there's not money to be made. And Matt Gajewski and Alex Big and the whole team here, they've got projections. If you are playing, and that's a choice, but if you are going to play, you have to listen to these shows. You have to look at these projections because you don't know who's in, who's out, and they do. It can make all the money in the world. Preseason football is about not making mistakes. That is the number one key. Let other people make mistakes with personnel. They pay the rig. So make sure to stay tuned. We've got Live Before Lock, plenty of coverage for preseason NFL, in addition to the betting content that you're going to hear on Awesemo Odds.
There we go, everybody. Another work week down at the breakfast menu. I hope you're full after this. Good luck for your bets. I hope you're tailing some of our NFL futures. We will be back again Monday morning for another edition of the breakfast menu.